This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
There he is, ready to go. How you feeling, my man?
Feeling good, Played in a soccer coaches versus referees game last night, and I didn't die, which is a good sign when you can play for a couple quarters in a soccer game on the big field, mind you, a big field.
Quarters or halves?
No, we do quarters because I think they do it like 15-minute quarters or whatever, so that nobody dies from too much running. So I played about 30 minutes yesterday and was able to get through it, which tells me all the pickleball's paying off, brother.
And I mean, I got a question. Did you do the messy maneuvering where you really just stood in one spot?
No, I mean,
fourth, or are you actually running up and down?
No, look, they put the slow fat guys in the back on defense. I didn't have to run and create plays, but I did my job. I didn't allow anybody to get past me for any goals. I ran up and down. I had a couple throw-ins. I was able to hang, brother. I was able to hang. So it's progress for me.
Okay. All right. That's good stuff. I know I probably would die at this point. I can't run around anyways right now. I still can't do that on my foot. I can only walk.
Yeah.
So I'm not even ready to run or even move laterally sideways and cut or whatever. That stuff until the doc tells me I'm good for that, then maybe I can start doing some of that stuff, man. But yeah. Crazy.
Well, you'll get back there. Next year, you and I we'll do a soccer game together. I'll bring you out there, and you can.
I'll be ready next year. Yeah, I'll be ready by next year. I'll have the other 35 off. I'll be at 210. I'll be svelte.
We can stick you at midfield then.
Yeah, I'll be midfield, forward. Yeah,
right.
Maybe there. I'm a tall guy, so maybe I can do some play in the box and everything. So yeah, definitely. I'm all about it once I lose the weight and get that foot fixed. That'll be good, brother. I can't wait for that. Shit, what was I going to ask you now? I forgot that I was going to ask you something off the beaten path now that I was going to ask. Oh, by the way, did you see the Brady roast?
Yes, it was great. It was awesome. I really enjoyed it. I thought there were about 4 or 5 people that really killed it in the performance in terms of just, getting on a run and going off. I thought the podcaster guy, Tony, I think his name was.
Oh, he was amazing. Bro.
He was amazing. Yeah.
I've never heard of that guy. Just like
Me neither.
Sam J. I had never heard of her either, and she was absolutely fantastic. I thought Belichick killed it, by the way.
He did. He was great. It was some great comedic timing, man. Like his, it's very dry, but it's very just perfectly timed. He was good.
He delivered. He had the delivery for all of it, which was actually really, really good. And the thing that stood out to me, well, at the beginning, you see it and it says 3 hours, and you're like, bro,
it's a commitment.
What the hell is this 3 hours? But it goes by like that, really, because there's only like Gronk, and there's only a couple of bad segments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Gronk got I felt like I went back to junior high and elementary.
Yep.
Where, some homophobic rant went on with some kid or something, back in the day when there was a lot of that homophobic type of stuff that was openly said, in those days. And it kind of felt like a child in a homophobic rant, you know what I mean? But that was
open window to what some of these guys are really like. I'll tell you that, right?
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, it was definitely like a locker room.
Yep.
There's no doubt that they gave that locker room feel, to that whole thing. But yeah, I thought that was actually pretty amazing, actually, because I didn't expect it to be that good.
Me either.
And Brady put himself out there, dude.
Yeah, he really did. Really did.
He put himself out there. All right. Canes wise, what are we working on this week on the recruiting side? What's the deal?
Well, they had one of their commitments in the 2025 class, a kid that was based out of Tallahassee, who I guess they sort of decommitted from the class. But again, it's May 10th, and I try to tell all the Miami fans who get up in a hysteria over recruiting this time of year, put your pants back on. We got 7 months to go. All right, we got a long time to go before anything important happens, and I think. The summertime, yes, there will be visits here in June, but go back and look, do the research like I do in this profession. Look at how many guys take visits and how many guys actually sign. Like it's a lower percentage. This is the dance. This is the romance of recruiting. You go through the process, you bring people in, and every once in a while you catch a big fish. And Mario, I would say stand on Mario's record, right? The last 2 years, top 7, top 4 recruiting classes back-to-back years. I'm not worried in the least. I think if they have a good season, which I expect them to, I think they're going to have a good year. I think they'll have another top 7, top 5 recruiting class, and it'll be 3 in a row, and this program will finally get back to where it's supposed to. If they go out there and they shit the bed, well, then you know what happens.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm with you, man. I mean, it's everything is set up for you now. Um, I don't like to play the schedule game, but when you look at what they got to do this year, what's the toughest part of their challenge?
I've started to break down the other rosters in the ACC to see what other people did in the transfer portal, because that's really, most of the time people don't want to sit there. They just study their own team, right? They only study, hey, what did the Canes do, or what did FSU do this year, right? They might look at FSU's roster or the Gators. I've spent a lot of time looking at what everybody in the ACC did in the offseason just over the last few days to see who they've added and who they've lost. I think the best teams on Miami's roster on paper in terms of opponents are Florida State, Louisville, and this one may come out of left field for some people, but Cal. I think California did a pretty good job
Really?
addressing some needs. They were a bowl team a year ago, and they went out, and it looks like they spent a little money on NIL because they got a pretty good recruiting class, and that's an interesting trip. Miami hasn't played on the West Coast, obviously, in a
Oh yeah, no, that'll be a challenge for
long
them to go all
time.
the way to the West Coast. Yeah, you're
So
right.
you're gonna play. You're not only that, but you're gonna play a team that is familiar with Cam Ward. They faced Cam Ward in the Pac-12, so I think that's a game now I look at on paper and I say, that's an interesting little road test maybe that you just take for granted. You say, well, Cal and Stanford are gonna come here and get crushed by everybody, right?
Right.
Well, we'll see. I think their coaching staff has a little bit of an advantage. They faced Cam Ward and they've seen what he's done, and they've also seen Damian Martinez from Oregon State, who comes in to be the running back. So they have film, and obviously they know Mario, right, from his
That's
days
what I
at
was gonna
Oregon.
say. They know his tendencies. Yeah.
Exactly. So that'll be an interesting game early in the year. I think that's their first real road game for Miami on the schedule. So, but I mean, look, I think on paper. And I'm not the only one who feels this way, because I've talked to other people. I talked to Roddy Jones, who's really, really good. He's on ESPN's network. We talked earlier this week, and Roddy, former running back at Georgia Tech, and he's on the ACC network. He studies these rosters as much as I do. He thinks Miami is good enough to win the league, as is with Cam Ward, and he thinks really their biggest competition is probably Florida State and Clemson. But Clemson, as you know, does not add anybody through the transfer portal. Dabo Swinney just refuses to go into the portal and to upgrade his roster. So I think you look at on paper who's got the best rosters. I think Miami, Florida State, uh, Clemson, just because of what they bring back, NC State. There's a handful of teams, but I think Miami is right there. And if Cam Ward is the best quarterback in the league with the best receivers in the league, there's no doubt the most productive coming back. That gives Miami a huge advantage.
Yeah. No. To me, I would agree with him on the talent base. But I would have said that last year, that with the talent it was better and you should have won more, but yet you didn't with Mario. And
Right.
so I blame Mario and his staff for not getting more out of his own team and his own players. So the only thing that's going to stop them from maybe achieving that kind of stuff is the coaches or bad luck, injuries or whatever that could stop anybody.
Oh
But
yeah, yeah. Injuries can stop anybody at any
anybody,
point. Cam Ward goes down for whatever reason. Throw
right?
out throw
That's
out your preseason expectations, because
done.
Emory Williams. I mean, look, I know there's a lot of people who are excited about Emory Williams, and they said, "Man, wow, what a big win against Clemson!" And he played Florida State close. The guy did not look good to me when I watched him on film. I didn't see anything extremely special. He was a true freshman that looked like a deer in headlights at times. So to think that Emory Williams would be able to just come in, or even this kid Reese Poffenbarger, who they got from Albany, like to say that they'd be able to carry this team to the same heights as Cam is ridiculous. So I think Miami is very well positioned, is what I'll say, to win the league this year. Now, is Mario going to go out and step in it? Is his coordinator going to make the right adjustments when teams adjust to what they're doing offensively? Think about this. After the Texas A&M game, did Miami's offense look the same?
No.
Everybody knew exactly what they kind of got exposed in a way because, this is what works for them. So I just think there's going to be adjustments. I really like Miami's defensive coordinator. I think Lance Guidry's really good. I think he showed you how good he could be when they had all of those injuries on the defensive line, and he went to the 3-3 stack, and they still were a pretty good defense down the stretch. That to me was impressive. So we will see what they do on offense and how teams adjust to them, because they've got a lot of weapons, and hopefully this is the year that they get it together and win, man. How good can the Canes be? How good can they be? I would say certainly good enough to win the ACC. I think they can make the playoff. I don't know that they can win the national championship with this roster. They'd have to get really, really hot on offense and probably average over 40 points a game. Weakest position, hands down, safety in my mind. I think they're the cornerbacks. They've got guys that can play corner. I don't know that they have guys that can play that safety. I was doing my own show without you guys, by the way.
I saw it. I have this. I turned the volume on, so like a pro you are, you just started to take over, which was good. It's just exactly what we needed. We needed a number one to take over, and you're clearly a number one. See, if it was Bam and I left, you would have been like, "What do I do? What do I do? I'm not a number one." See, but you're a number one, so you're able to just.
I'm ready to handle it, brother. I'm ready to handle it.
Ready to take over and get it done. So we were talking about how we didn't recognize the offense after that.
Yeah, it seemed like, and once the Georgia Tech game happened and Tyler got exposed against zone coverage, teams just knew, hey, this is what we got to throw at this guy. And so I think we're gonna have to see the same adjustments are gonna be made to Cam Ward, bro. Like, some of these coaches in the ACC are really, really good. I really like NC State's coaching staff. I think that guy, he maximizes that roster every single year. They win they can't get over the hump and win 10, 11, 12 games and win the conference, but they can beat Clemson. They can beat NC State. They beat Miami. So I think the coaching staff there is top notch. And if Miami ends up facing NC State in the ACC championship game, that would not be an easy assignment for Mario, in my mind.
No, definitely not. It would be one hell of an assignment for Mario. All right, what are you working on over at the Athletic so folks can check you out, my man?
Well, we're gonna have this series looking at all the quarterbacks in the Power Four, and I'm handling the SEC. My colleague Grace Rayner got the ACC. That'll be coming out first. My SEC report will be coming out afterward. But just sort of looking at, previewing the season, bro. We got 3 months here of off-season time to burn through before we get to fall practices. So there'll be a ton of that stuff. I will definitely be doing some recruiting work, analyzing the June visits that are upcoming for everybody in the ACC. That I did draw. That was one of my assignments that I got. I'm sure I'll be doing SEC as well. So they got me doing the Southeast region here for the Athletic pretty much. And there's going to be some camps in terms of like tournaments and stuff. OT7. I don't know. Have you seen this OT7 stuff? The 7-on-7 that they've been putting. They actually put some of the games on NFL Network. It's flag football, and it's all of the elite kids across the country. All the top quarterbacks, receivers, DBs. They put some of this stuff on NFL Network on the weekends for people to watch. So OT7 just finished their regular season, and I know the championships are in Tampa in the beginning of June, like the second week of June. So you guys will probably be able to get to watch some of that, and it's all the best seniors and juniors, in high school. If you want to get a look at that, I will be going there for that as well.
By the way, Troy is asking, any news on the edge and safety guys we're looking at in the portal?
Yeah, just still waiting on what is it, Tehran, the kid from Tennessee and Louisville. I forget these names, and I apologize, Troy, because there's so many names. I'm like already breaking down other rosters, so I forget what the kids' name are. But the edge rusher, they're still waiting on a decision. I know he had like a shoulder issue, and I think he had to like pass a physical. I don't know if he got all the clearance yet. And he's probably negotiating money still. I mean, look, the thing is, once you're in the portal, you can wait up until the first day of practice in August to say I'm going here or there. So the longer you wait, the more desperate people get, and And then as far as the safety position, I know they've looked at a couple different guys potentially adding, but I don't know that they're ready to formally offer NIL deal and what that is yet.
All right, there you go. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Catch his work there at The Athletic. Manny, as always, thank you, my brother. Have a fantastic weekend.
Thank you. You guys too. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, sir. There you go. Manny Navarro, Caneswear. Use our code BIGO10, baby. If you go there, if you go online at caneswear.com, use our code BIGO10, you will get 10% off. And if you order over $99, you will get free shipping. So if you can't go over to Davie and you live too far away, okay, you live up in Orlando or Tallahassee or New York or Illinois or California, well, then go to caneswear.com, pick over $99. You'll get free shipping, and then use our code BIGO10, and you'll get 10% on top of that. Come on, man. That's savings. Or if you go personally, make sure you give them our code BIGO10. Doesn't matter what you buy. You can get this kind of a Panther hat. You can get all kinds of stuff, man, at caneswear.com.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.